I have done no studies and no research on this, but any NFL fan probably would feel the same, that you could have such a limited background coming out of high school and potentially be a star at this position. Because when you think about it, it's guys that either excelled at basketball, it's guys that are changing positions from high school because their body went through such an insane development from age 16, 17 to what they are at 19 or 20.
It's called anabolic steroids.
That's damn right it is. That's the NFL Stock Exchange plan.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor Sikkema, Connor Rogers here for the final chapter of Summer Scouting. I guess maybe not. Technically, if you want to say that the big board episode that we'll do eventually is the final chapter, then maybe that's the final chapter. But final positional rankings that we have here for the 2026 NFL Draft and the Summer Scouting Series. Connor, it's bittersweet. I'm glad that we're here at the end because it means that football's right around the corner. It means that we get to actually watch some more live games of these guys. But the tight end position is where we are finishing up this exercise. How you doing, my friend? How does it feel to hear be at the end?
It's great, man. Staring at these position rankings and just kind of having it filled out. And like you said, one of the most exciting parts of this job is there's so many like repeat cycles every year. You do summer scouting, you lay the foundation. And then the fall is the big roller coaster of this guy had a monster week. I've never seen this guy. He's breaking out. Everybody's freaking out that this guy that was supposed to be awesome isn't playing very well. And then you get to the draft process and things start to even out again. So I am excited to take that next step with this draft class and actually have the games be played. And you and I doing what we do usually in the middle of the week and doing our stock up and stock down candidates and talking about all the movement, man. Because, you know, that's some of our favorite parts of this entire process.
And, you know, we like to be transparent here on the show to let you guys know sometime next week, I'll be updating the big board over at PFF. We'll be changing things over, and there will at least be 250 players that are there on the big board because I have 250 players ranked here after summer scouting. So you guys will be able to see those rankings as a whole. You know, we'll talk about it here on the show when we do the big board episode at some point. But when we go through the mock draft simulator for the way too early mock draft, that will be up there. And then my goal, what I would like to do, is I would like to have 400 players on the big board, right? I would like to get some of the players that I watched and then some other names that we didn't quite get to that you guys have shouted out throughout the summer, as well as names that we know are on like the consensus board. I want to get those in the mock draft simulator so you guys can draft those guys as well. And of course, like as they play well throughout the season, which we hope they do, I'll build some scouting reports for them and everything. But that is what is coming down the line here as we get to this final position. We're going to do our top 8s here for the tight end position. And, you know, Connor, tight end's always, it's an interesting topic every single year because some years it feels like you have 2 or 3 first rounders. In other years you go, all right, well, there's not a guy that we're going to draft in the top 50 here. So this year I do think that we've got a couple of candidates to, you know, maybe sneak into the first round. There's one I have in particular. Obviously, my tight end one, I'm going to talk pretty highly about that person. But we'll also kind of compare this tight end class versus last year's tight end class too. But what'd you think overall? Just before we dig into it, before we get into these top 8s, your thoughts on these tight ends we watched?
Pretty solid. More different than previous years because we knew Bowers was going to be special. We felt really, really good about Loveland going into the year and plenty to like about Tyler Warren before he exploded. And I think that this year, right now as we sit here, I don't know if there's a guy that's projected in the same way preseason that those guys were necessarily, but it feels like there's this big cluster maybe in the top 75 to 100 picks that can be NFL starters. And then there's a couple guys that we're going to talk about today, Trev, that they have one really big-time calling card, like a certain skill set for a certain type of usage where they can be particularly effective that way. So I enjoyed watching this group. Tight end, ironically, it's interesting because you don't think of it when you think of all that goes into the conversation around the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. Tight end is one of the longer watches because you're watching them as wide receivers. You're watching them as pass protectors. You're watching them as run blockers. And you're watching them in so many different alignments. You're seeing guys that play the slot. Some guys get looks out wide. Some guys play in line a lot. Some guys play technically in line, but off the line of scrimmage to get these free releases. And then some guys play some fullback or H-back. So it is one of the more detailed watches of guys that wear so many hats in a college offense.
And I'll tell you, man, tight ends are football players. I mean,
it requires everything.
You have to be 6'4", 260. You have to be able to host the pod, right? You got to be able to block because you'll play
right off the rip.
You got to be able to host the pod size-wise. You play. You just mentioned it. These dudes are asked to play in line. They are lead blockers as fullbacks. They're wingbacks. They're in the slot. They're as X receivers. They're at the top of the triangle in trips formations. Like the ask of tight ends is so diverse that I have them broken up into two different categories because, like you said, there's different ways that tight ends can really shine, and there's different ways that teams can find value in them. So I have them broken up into two different categories. I really have Y tight ends, which are primarily inline blocking tight ends, and then I have F tight ends, which are more move tight ends, right? These are the guys that are detached from the line of scrimmage, or they're playing in the slot, they're playing in the outside. Those are essentially blocking tight ends, receiving tight ends, but I'll give them to you in the top 8 for our top 8 and combine those guys, and we'll talk about exactly where they are in those positions. So I'll let you kick it off, as I always do. 8, 7, 6. Let's talk about the 3 guys that you have there, 8 to 6, and then obviously we'll get into the top 5s one by one.
So number 8, a previous favorite of yours. How about Georgia's Oscar Delp?
Oh, let's go, baby!
Throwback to summer scouting last year. I remember you really liked him. There's a lot to like about him. Georgia's a place.
He was tight end 2 for me last year, which, hand up. Little high being tight end 2, hand up. But he didn't blossom into the receiver that I thought he was going to be. And to be honest, they had Benjamin Urasek, they had Lawson Lucky, who I think that we'll talk about here on this show as well. And so it's like they really looked at Oscar Delp, and even though I think he's a pretty good athlete, they basically just made him a blocker. So he really didn't get that chance to blossom. Anyways, what did you think about him there? Yeah, number 8.
Yeah, with Delp, it was, when you look at the production and the lack thereof in terms of what we expected, you go in thinking, almost what happened, and then you watch the tape and go, this guy's still a damn good football player, right? I mean, 6'4" and 3/8, 250 pounds now. He's definitely been gaining weight during his time at Georgia, which is a really, really good sign. I do have him down having sub 32-inch arms, so the arm length is a little shorter than a lot of the guys you'll hear on today's show. 9.5-inch hands, that's all spring stuff from there, so pretty average hand size. The thing is with him, he's athletic enough, more from a lateral agility standpoint, to play off the line of scrimmage when they want him to. And despite not being the biggest, strongest looking tight end all the time, when they run the ball, like man scheme runs, and he just drive blocks off the line of scrimmage, he's really good at it. Really good at it. Where I kind of look at him and go, were we just a little over our skis a year early with this guy, and this is going to be the year? Because now he has some of the strength to block from the line of scrimmage. I think his technique is good as well. I think he just needed to get bigger, and he is getting bigger. So I find the blocking trending in the right direction, honestly, to be a true wide tight end with the ability to flex out as a slot, as a move tight end as well. He's going to be able to do both because I think he'll, by the combine, if Delp is 255 and just a lot stronger, would I be shocked? No. I don't think he has great straight line speed, but I do think he's somebody that after the catch, he shows urgency to get up the field. There's plenty of times where, and this surprised me, like watching the Alabama game from last year, he struggled as an adjuster to 2 big plays that he should have had. But when you watch a lot of the other games, he's good at that. So it felt like when the lights were really bright, he had, a tough couple plays where he might have got judged for that for his season. The biggest thing, Trevor, that, we talked about was in 2023, he had 24 catches for 284 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you're looking at 2024 and going, okay, it's going to be a 500-plus yard season. He's going to have 45 to 50 catches. Can he catch 6 touchdowns? and he only had 21 catches for 248 yards and 4 touchdowns. This passing offense had a lot of issues to go around, where I'm not just going to put all of that on him, but I hope Delp's production really increases as a receiver, while the trajectory that, in my opinion, he's showing as a blocker is trending in the right way, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of just wanted him to be a blocker. And I thought going into last season, when I watched the 2023 tape, I agree with you. I saw a player that I felt like was a good athlete. I mean, just as a reminder to people, he was a 4-star tight end coming out of high school. He played defensive end, cornerback, and receiver before switching to tight end when he got to high school. So, I mean, he's just a football player. He's just played a lot of football. He's also a lacrosse player. I really like who he is as an athlete. I really do.
Yeah.
But he just does not have experience in production as a receiver. And I think he is still a draftable player to me. Absolutely. But I think at this point, it just feels as though he's going to be a day 3 pick, right? He just did not have that jump in production or jump in opportunity last year. And I don't think he's going to get it this year with Lawson Lucky probably continuing to be the tight end 1 that they like to lean on in the passing game. So this is still a guy who I like, and a guy who I genuinely think is underrated. I just don't know if the NFL or Georgia even is going to think more of him outside of just a hardworking, will stick his nose in there and give you everything that he can as a blocker. So I labeled him a blocking tight end, whereas I think last season I understood that blocking was what he did the best at that point, but I labeled him as somebody who I could see blossoming a little bit as a receiver, but he just did not do that. So I think he's just more of that blocking label player.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Let's see what he could do this year, because it's a big opportunity for him. Like you said, how the targets go around in this offense, even at his own position group at tight end, will be really interesting and something that can be a little bit unpredictable, but hopefully he takes advantage of that. Tight end 7 for me was John Michael Gyllenborg from Wyoming. Did you get to watch him?
I did, yeah. I had him... Where is this? He was 8, so he's 8 for me. So he's where I would start the conversation there. So
okay, we'll talk about him when we kick off your rankings. I'll read off number 6 to close out mine. A player that, this is the guy that I love what he's good at, and he's really good at it. Justin Joly from NC State.
Yep.
The transfer from UConn.
Yep.
He's 6'2" and 7/8, so about 6'3". He's up to 250 pounds now in the spring. He definitely did not play at 250 when you watch him last year. Like, there's just there's no way. 10.5-inch hands.
Yep.
32 and 5/8 inch arms. What he is excellent at is he is a lethal power slot. This guy.
Yep.
I mean, big hands, plays above the rim, caught 11 to 13 contested targets last year, ball skills for days, maximizes that catch radius, 99th percentile separation percentage last year. Like, this dude is a dynamic receiving threat. He needs to work on all the other aspects, in my opinion, that come with playing tight end, or else he'll just continue to be that power slot. But I think with the weight gain we have seen from the spring, carrying it into this season, I think he's somebody that might show enough as a blocker that he plays his way as a top 60. Like, I would be shocked if he's a top 60 pick when everything is said and done. No, he has that kind of talent.
Yeah, so I have him at tight end 5. And
dude,
so
he does some freakish things.
Dude, and after the catch, he's excellent. He was excellent when he was at UConn after the catch stuff.
Monster
excellent year. At NC State. So really reliable at the catch point. 70.5% contested catch percentage in 2023 and 2024. Those are those big hands really showing up. So he's a really strong receiver. He's got those long arms to him. I think he's got good grip strength as a blocker, which makes me very encouraged about, okay, when you start to really put on the weight, then you can handle things a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, there were times that linebackers or defensive ends or whatever were kind of like taking him for a ride, like throwing him one way or the other, but he's hanging on. And he didn't, at least I don't think, he had a ton of holding penalties. Like, he was still holding his own. It's not like he was just hanging on for dear life and causing holding penalties. It's just that, okay, he's getting moved off of his spot a little bit easier, but he's still hanging on and making it really difficult for those defenders to obviously get clean and make the tackle. So I think he's a competitive blocker. He's got good grip strength. He really just needs some extra size to him to be more of an all-around tight end. But, man, in terms of a receiver, I really like this player. I agree with you. I think he's an above the rim guy. I think he's a contested catch guy. I think he's a yards after catch guy. So I have him as tight end 5. I like Justin Joly a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent as a receiver that translates to the NFL level. And like you said, I like the compete level. Like, I think he's tough. I think he's willing. It's more second level or out in front, wide kind of blocking that he's going to give you right now. But once again, the weight gain is encouraging to me. He is definitely an ascending prospect that I put at 6, and obviously you put at 5. But I was like, I won't be shocked at all we get to April and he's tight end 3 for me. Like, wouldn't be shocked in the slightest bit. But I'll let you take the floor for your 8 through 6.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out as well. This is a former 2-star wide receiver. So under-recruited, and he played wide receiver. He didn't even have that tight end label when he was going to UConn initially. So started at UConn, really worked his way up. Really great receiver there.
Great reminder, Trevor, for this show. This is the position group that I have done no studies and no research on this, but any NFL fan probably would feel the same, that you could have such a limited background coming out of high school and potentially be a star at this position. Because when you think about it, it's guys that either excelled at basketball, it's guys that are changing positions from high school because their body went through such an insane development from age 16, 17 to what they are at 19 or 20.
It's called anabolic steroids.
That's damn right it is. That's the NFL Stock Exchange plan. So this is one where, like, yeah, the 2-star guy being a top dude out of nowhere should never surprise you.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can be a tight end and convert from so many different positions. We've seen linebackers become tight ends. We've seen quarterbacks become tight ends, right? Florida Gator great Felipe Franks. Now he's a tight end in the NFL, you know? Unfortunately, Florida's got a little bit of a quarterback to tight end pipeline going on right here because Trey Burton, I think he committed as a quarterback to Florida, and then he switched to tight end before he got to the NFL, so that's one. Tim Tebow, obviously, played quarterback historically at Florida, and then he finished his career in the NFL as a tight end. Felipe Franks is another one. And then, unfortunately, Connor, I have to say it, is Anthony Richardson now going down that path?
Oh, no.
I hope not. I hope not. Certainly not speaking it into existence. I would never say that out loud, but when you lose the starting quarterback job to Daniel Jones, when your coach and general manager are already on the hot seat for drafting you, it's not great. Okay, let's
shout out Tyree Jackson, another one, a supersized quarterback.
Oh yeah,
Tyree
Jackson,
the
Buffalo quarterback.
Yeah, I think he was placed on injured reserve already for the Commanders this summer. But shout out to him, man. He was in the 2019 draft, and he is still with an NFL organization in 2025. That, like, you don't have to catch 10 touchdowns to get love for that. The fact you hung around the NFL like that, switching from quarterback to tight end, that's impressive.
I also just remembered that Jordan Reed, the tight end, was also a former quarterback to a tight end. This is sad. This is sad what my university has become, the pipeline program that they have become.
That's actually ridiculous.
It's you know what? If I see any of you, I want you all to listen to me right now. If any one of you even utters the words DJ Lagway,
I wanted to so badly. Oh man,
there's gonna be hell to pay. Okay,
he's my TE too on this show.
I'll kill you. Okay, so Michael Gyllenborg, is that how you say it? Is it Gyllenborg?
I thought it was Gyllenborg.
Gyllenborg?
I'm pretty sure when I watched that sweet double overtime tying touchdown he caught, they said Gyllenborg.
I'm a real ball knower, so I'm only watching the all 22 with no volume.
I'll tell you how I find my pronunciations because I'm like you. About like the day of the show we're going to record.
Yeah.
I go on Twitter and search for highlights for everyone in my rankings.
Smart.
Like Justin Joly. Thank God. I would have been out here
you
Justin
go
Joly. No, but you have to make sure.
Big Christmas?
Yeah, right. Big Christmas. Big Christmas part 2. See, that'd be sick.
Wait,
all right, he's Big Christmas now.
Hold
Fuck
on.
it.
Wait, no. There's a baseball player.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Jackenzie Noel.
Yes, yeah, and they call him Big Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly the sickest nickname in sports.
I kind of want it because we're coming off the heels of the show of Big Citrus, which we kind of like crowned one of the best nicknames that we have in the draft class. If we can somehow get Justin Joly to lean into Joly and be Big Christmas, that could help his stock. That's all I'm saying.
I like
Could help. But anyways. Okay. John Michael
Gyllenborg?
Okay, I got to write that down and make sure I got that. Redshirt senior tight end from Wyoming. I have him tight end 8. You have him tight end 7 here for the 2026 NFL Draft. 6'5.5", 252 pounds. It's 50th percentile in weight, 78th percentile in height. And he looks like he's got the height and length to him. He really does. Former 3-star tight end from the state of Kansas. Was also a standout basketball player. Yeah. Shocking to no one. Redshirt his first year, and then he's been a starter off and on about half the time for the last 2 years in 2023 and 2024. He was also number 54 on Bruce Feldman's freak list for this year. This is a quote from his article. The former high school basketball standout only played one season of football before committing to college, but he has that kind of athleticism at 6'5", 250 pounds that will intrigue NFL scouts. He hit 21.6 miles per hour, and his flying 10-yard of 0.93 seconds is very impressive, as are his 37-inch vertical jump and 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. He squatted 500 pounds, benched 350. God, everybody's benching 350 these days.
It's like nothing.
I'm like, what? Everywhere you look, it's just like, oh yeah, he benched 350.
I've almost become so accustomed to it. When I read it, I'm like, oh, big deal. And I'm like, wait a second.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Up 25 pounds from last year, he says. With those long arms? I got to see it.
You want to hear something crazy? Because I thought what you thought, and I almost don't even know if I believe it. I have a verified measurement that his arms are only 31 inches.
Damn, what an optical illusion that would be.
I don't see that on tape when I watch him play.
I didn't either.
I actually wrote he makes great catches away from his body.
Yeah, sometimes that's a little optical illusion. You know, if you're fully extending the arms catcher, which we want you to be, obviously we want you to go attack the ball in the air. Sometimes it can make you feel like you got longer arms. But I wouldn't think that he'd be sub 32.
It's definitely one I put an asterisk next to it because I'm like, I want to double check this when he goes to the Senior Bowl or the Combine and make sure. Because, these guys that do the spring measurements, they'll occasionally screw up too. 31 is, for a guy that looks like him, I was like, that's weird. We'll see.
So here's my scouting summary for him. Instead of just the strength and weaknesses, I'll just read the little scouting summary that I have, which you guys can go see in all the scouting reports that we have over at the MDS. Gyllenborg, right? No, Gyllenborg.
You keep doing it.
Dude, Jake Gyllenhaal is in my head, man.
Like rent-free.
Rent-free, brother.
What's your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal flick?
Damn, I don't know.
I think I'm a Prisoners guy.
I've never seen it.
Oh, God.
Now hold on. Now I gotta IMDb him. Hold on. I almost typed in Jake Gyllenborg.
See, you're a mess.
Okay, he did Roadhouse, Brokeback Mountain, Prisoners, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler's good.
Southpaw, Jarhead.
Man, he's got a crazy resume.
All right, you ready for another movie admittance here?
Yeah, this is just going from bad to worse, huh?
I have not seen Brothers, Jarhead, Southpaw, Nightcrawler, Prisoners, Brokeback Mountain, Roadhouse, Love and Other Drugs, or Day After Tomorrow. So I have not seen literally the man's entire catalog. He's a bum to me.
Yeah,
he's an AI actor.
No, I'm kind of floored you haven't seen The Day After Tomorrow, because that was a movie when it came out that everyone just had to see because it hadn't really been done in that era of like, hey, this is what it would look like if the world came to an end because of climate. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, Prisoners is my vote. I'm very curious what the comment section has to say.
I have seen Spider-Man Far From Home, so that's my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Oh, my God. You're a disgrace.
All right.
Oh, my God.
JMG, as I like to call him, so that I don't have to say his last name again. He has a long and tall frame that's well above average for the NFL at over 6'5". Listed at 250 pounds. If that is legit, it's also right around the average for the league. His strengths are seen in the passing game with good movements and a playmaker's mentality. I definitely saw that from him. It felt like when he got the ball in his hands, he wanted to be a playmaker with it, wanted to make guys miss, wanted to get those yards after catch. His hands are decently reliable with his catch percentages, but I did notice this, Connor. He struggles in catching through contact. His catch through contact numbers were lower than I wanted them to be. His height makes it tough to win the leverage battles as a blocker at 6'5.5", and blocking just won't be where he makes his mark in the league. You just need him to not be a liability there when you can get the most of what he is as a receiver. He kind of reminded me of Luke Musgrave, right? Like
that's pretty good.
You know, it's this like longer tight end who is a really good athlete. He's going to boast being a really good athlete, but I'll be honest, like I remember not being super impressed with Luke Musgrave when he was coming out of the draft. And
Same.
A lot of people thought that he was absolutely going to be that tight end one for the Packers. And Tucker Kraft is very clearly like taken that role over.
Right.
So I think the deficiencies with Musgrave were sort of the same. Like he wasn't a blocker, which is okay. But the part that the lack of strength really showed up, and I didn't think that Luke Musgrave was great in contested catch situations, and I don't think Gyllenborg is either. So that was sort of my scouting synopsis with him and how we got to him as tight end 8.
I remember with Musgrave, and I was not a fan. Everybody was like, look at him run the seam. And he would just be wide open, like over a linebacker.
Right. Yeah.
But anything else wasn't very effective in terms of his skill set. But Gyllenborg, we saw him I think what I do like about him is he battles through contact with routes. Like guys try to disrupt his routes and he battles. Mm-hmm. But you're right, when guys disrupt him at the catch point, he didn't finish enough plays. I think the offense really did a good job of trying to give him these free releases. He's one of the guys that he's lined up off the line of scrimmage, but with his hand in the dirt, so he can kind of get the running free release on the quick out, which is smart for them because he usually beats linebackers to the sideline. It's a smart design.
Oh, but they're trying to win football games. I get it.
Yeah, go win football games and help your team, and that's exactly what he's doing. It's just not something that you'll see a ton of in the NFL unless you're an elite athlete. He's not. So PFF didn't have him with a registered missed tackle forced. And when you watch his catches, he doesn't break tackles or make a lot of guys miss. And some guys on this list that we're going to go through in our top 5, it's like, oh, wow. Is that a 240-pound running back out there that I have to deal with?
Right.
I wrote what you wrote. I just said he's just not strong enough right now to be relied on as a run blocker. So, yeah, interesting receiving threat, but he has some work to do in terms of being an NFL tight end prospect rounded out.
So, number 7 for me was Miles Kitselman from Tennessee. Did you watch him?
No, this is somebody I did not watch.
Okay, so he is, let me pull up his scouting report here. He is the number 1 blocking tight end that I have in the blocking category here. So he's just a shade under 6'5". He's 6'4" and 5/8", and he's 260 pounds. So obviously he has the weight profile that you would want for a guy who's going to be a blocker for you. Former 3-star tight end from the state of Kansas. Played offensive and defensive lines in high school, which love that background. A lot of tight ends that go, they played a little wide receiver, maybe a little running back. This dude played O-line and D-line, which
you're a guard and 3-tech today.
And then he just lost a little bit of weight, and they were like, all right, yeah, sure, play tight end. That's fine. Just be a blocking tight end for us. Started his college career at Hutchinson Community College, played 3 games there in 2021, ended up transferring to Alabama, played at Alabama in 2022 and 2023 before transferring over to Tennessee, getting a shot to start. And I like this player. I think he's a good athlete, certainly for his size. When you talk about a guy who's 260 pounds, he checks all the boxes for an NFL tight end. He's got decent straight line speed. I mean, look, he's not going to be sharp on his routes. He's not going to be creating a ton of separation, but asking him to run vertically, get up the seam, certainly get out to the sideline and block. Like, he's got some decent movement skills and decent explosiveness for him. Strong hands when he's got those extended arms. I mean, really strong hands when he can attack the ball, which I love that from him. And of course, if you're lining him up in line, the weight profile I really like. He's just not going to be a big separation guy. He's not going to be a yards after catch guy. And he's just got low receiving production throughout his college career because it's not really what he's going to do. But to me, Connor, he's one of those guys who he feels like he's pretty scheme versatile because he has that size and at least some explosiveness in him to where, yeah, he's mainly going to be a blocking tight end, but you still have to think about him. Like, you can't totally ignore him in the passing game, which I really like. So he doesn't have a lot of experience in that area, but he is somebody who I think could be a plus value for you as an extra blocker on the line of scrimmage. And then some plays where you think he's going to be a blocker for you, and boom, he's getting up the field and up the seam. You got to be ready for it because I think his first couple of steps are pretty explosive for the size that he is. So I really liked him as a blocker, and I felt like he was the guy I liked the most as a blocking tight end in this class.
You're speaking my language, the kind of players I like at this position, so I'm excited to watch him because honestly, the reality is in today's NFL, with all the 12 personnel we're seeing, if you have the size, technique, and ability as a blocker, you just need to be a little competent as a pass catcher, and you'll carve a role on an NFL roster, and you will get paid one day. We're seeing guys get paid that are tight end twos that are heavily relied on as a blocker for their offense because that sixth player on the line of scrimmage could be the difference between your run game functioning or not. So it's in scouting, sometimes it could be overlooked because it's not on a YouTube highlight reel, but man, does it matter so much in this league.
Absolutely, especially if you're going to be a depth player. I'm trying to pull his receiving numbers up here, but my internet's being super slow today because I thought his catch percentages were super high, like 95th percent. All right, it's not going to load for me. Well, if it'll load later, then I'll just shout it out in the show. But he's who I have at 7, and then 6. Jack Endries from Cal, who is now, where is he now?
Texas,
yes. And I'm super excited for him to be at Texas. I'm mad that I forgot that because obviously it's a great offense that he's getting to play in. But do you have him in your top 5?
Yeah, he's tight end 3 for me.
Ooh, okay.
I think he's going to explode at Texas.
You are not alone. There are a lot of people that really like him. And to be honest with you, this is where we get into the tier of tight ends that I really like. So 6 on are round 3 grades and up for me. Guys who can really impact the game, guys who I think could be top 100 picks. So you're even higher on him than I am. You've got him tight end 3. I've got him tight end 6. I'd love to hear what you think of Endries.
So, as you said, he transferred from Cal to Texas. Right now, he's listed, he's 6'4", 236. So, but we have to keep in mind, he's going into his true junior year. So he's getting bigger and adding weight to be the size of an NFL tight end.
He's a growing boy. He's a growing boy, you know?
Glass of milk and a
I was just about to say the glass of milk thing. You got to strengthen the bones, man.
This podcast is just so stupid. So, first 2 years at Cal, which is his first 2 years in college, he started all 26 games. And he hauled in a combined over those 2 seasons, 91 catches, 1,030 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he was a huge part of the Cal passing attack right away. And that's why Texas went out and got him, because they look at this guy and probably think, hey, you could be a number 1 target for Arch in our offense, especially with the way we used Gunnar Helm last year. We can kind of, project you in that role. And once again, this true junior. For a young player on tape, Trevor, he has a great understanding and feel for sitting in the soft spots of zone coverage. He's always got his head up pre-snap, and as soon as the ball is snapped, he looks at exactly what they're trying to do, and he understands how to attack it, where to sit, how to tempo his routes, how to kind of stop himself without completely giving that away. He's just very crisp in that area. 96th percentile separation percentage last year, 87th percentile in yards per route run last year as well, which is a really, really good metric. He doesn't drop many passes. He's got natural hands. He caught 9 of 12 contested opportunities last year. He's good in congested areas. So you have somebody that understands how to sit and carve up space, but then you also have a guy that can play through contact when he needs to against man coverage. So, and here's the last thing. He's 236 pounds right now, but he shows me he's got the right demeanor and effort as a blocker. He doesn't have the size and technique yet because he's a really young player, but I think at Texas they're going to coach that up with him. He's shown me that he wants to do it, and he's got an attitude on him to do it. So he's got to continue to get bigger, especially if he wants to stay on the line of scrimmage at the next level. Yeah. I think he's a little bit more crafty than super athlete. Some of these guys that we're going to talk about today, it's like they could blow by you. And Joly. Joly's a guy where there's some examples of athleticism where you're like, I don't want to deal with that at tight end. That's insane. I think he's just more smart and savvy at times. As a blocker, going back to the demeanor, he's a lunger. Like, he wants to knock your head off sometimes, and maybe that's him knowing, hey, I'm giving up a couple pounds on the line of scrimmage here. Let me bring the fight to somebody else. So he had some big whiffs in Cal's run game. But I think Texas is going to really develop this guy to be a pretty big deal, and that's why I'm taking the bet on tight end 3.
So it's funny because there's a couple of tight ends here that aren't in my top 8 that I watched, and I wrote down in some of their negatives of like, hey, like they're just going for kill shots with blocks. Like, they're leading with their shoulder, they're trying to put somebody on their ass, and I write that down as a negative. I didn't write that down as a negative with Endries because there are other blocks of him sticking his nose in there with good form between the shoulders, and like you mentioned, him going for the kill shot, like him loading up a little bit more, is simply because he knows he doesn't have the weight. It's not because he's lazy. It's not because he doesn't have the discipline or bad technique. He just knows that he's got to put a little bit more effort into it. So it can look different. The same player, the same result can look a little bit different. You can have a little bit of a different takeaway with different players. But I agree with you, man. He is somebody who I think, let me look at my rankings. What 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, honestly, 6 through 3. You could put any of those guys in any order, and I'm pretty cool with it. So you
I don't think that's nuts at all. I agree.
Yeah, you having him tight end 2 or tight end 3. I can totally understand there because if we put some more weight on this dude, the strengths far outweigh the weaknesses, and really the weaknesses are quite literally, full pun intended, like he just needs to add more strength. And if he does, I really do think that we're getting a heck of a football player and somebody who can impact the game at a big way. So I'm very excited to see him in the SEC. I'm really hoping that they do put some extra weight on him because he's going to be one of Arch Manning's favorite targets. So I like it. I like Jack Endries.
So I had Endries at 3. You had him at 6, right?
Yes.
So who'd you have at 5?
Yeah. I had Big Christmas at 5.
You had Big Christmas at 5. I had him at 6. 5 for me was Eli Stowers. All
right, I have Stowers at 4. So
okay,
there we go.
There was a long time last year where we thought Stowers was going to be in last year's draft. He was one of my big in the moment surprises that he went back, and then when I watched him again this summer, I was like, this was probably the right idea.
Yeah.
Not that he's has massive glaring issues in his game, but I think he'll benefit from one more year.
I would have had Stowers probably like tight end 5 at the end of last year, because I'm looking at it now.
Let's see.
Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland, Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor. I think we're I think that Eli Stowers, in my opinion, would have been in the same group as Mason Taylor and Terrence Ferguson. Like, it would have been those 3 guys in that tier, that next tier that was right there for whoever was going to be tight end 4, 5, and 6. So that's the conversation that we're talking about there. And all of those guys went top 60, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah.
So
top 50.
As a tight end, if you have the opportunity to be a top 50, top 60 pick, I think you go. And so it did surprise me that Stowers went back, although it's not like it's perfect for him. It's not like it was a home run guarantee that he would have been that pick. But to me, there's that projection there because he's such a great athlete. You know, you look at this guy's background. He was a former 4-star quarterback out of the state of Texas. He was a 2-star athlete. He played football, and he also participated in track. He did the high jump, the long jump, and the relay sprints. He won the Texas 6A state title in the high jump, and he actually committed to Texas A&M as a quarterback. So he played in just 5 games when he was at Texas A&M, ends up transferring over to New Mexico State. He goes to New Mexico State to win the quarterback job. Funny enough, Diego Pavia wins the quarterback job at New Mexico State. So then Stowers just switches positions and he goes over to tight end. He plays 15 games with 3 starts as a tight end, and then both Pavia and Stowers transfer over to Vanderbilt, and we saw what happened last year with those two having a great connection and being fantastic and making some noise in the SEC. So he's a really good athlete. He's a little bit on the small side, right? 6'3.5", 24th percentile, 240 pounds, 70th percentile. But if you just lean into who he is as an athlete, Connor, I think he's a big-time playmaker as a tight end who could do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you'd probably want to use him, kind of how Jonnu Smith has been used lately. Obviously, he had a mammoth year in Miami's offense. That could be an outlier season. But Jonnu's had a long career and been successful. Yeah, and is reunited with Arthur Smith. Dude, he's got burst, fluid change of direction to get open.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of burst and change of direction, you're going to create separation, and he does. Credit to him. 92nd percentile yards per out run last year. So he's earning targets, and he's making the most of his targets. Here's what I loved, Trevor. He averaged almost 8 yards after the catch per reception.
Playmaker.
7.5 yards per reception after the catch. And now I will say they love that pitch pass play.
Yeah.
Let me be a little clear. As a tape watcher, they run this pitch pass play to him, and it's awesome. But
are you talking about like the pop pass where Pavia gets it and then he just throws it up in the air and then Stowers just comes across and just grabs the ball? Okay.
I'm pretty sure they actually ran one last year where they fake the option wide and then do the pop pass. And it was like, it was just one of the coolest plays I watched on tape of college football last year. So there's a little inflation from that play, but hey, I'm not going to hold it against them. He only had 1 drop last year. He had a 1.9% drop rate. Like he's reliable. He's very reliable.
Yeah.
At New Mexico, he had 28 carries 2 years ago for over 100 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So it was New Mexico State, right?
Yes.
Yeah. At New Mexico State, he had 28 carries for over 100 yards. Here's the thing, man. Like, we know he's not going to be an inline blocker kind of guy.
Right.
But to his credit, his effort and technique when they have him block at the second level is good. It is. Like, I give him a lot of credit as a former quarterback when he gets the chance to get out in front in the second level and the weight matchups are a little bit more even. He gives you something. He really does. And for the kind of transition he's had to go through and the type of athlete he is, you don't see that all the time with these guys. And, Feldman's Freaks List has him with a 39-inch vertical to give you an idea of just how, he's a weapon. He's a kind of a unique weapon. I'll tell you, I like him better than Harold Fannin last year.
Oh, yeah. I would have easily had him ranked above Harold Fannin. Yes.
I mean, so.
And that's sort of the same.
Right. Like the usage.
Right. And you brought up Jonnu Smith. Like, I think Isaiah Likely is the goal for him, right? Like how good Likely is right now, and just with
second level blocking,
similar size type of a thing. And you mentioned it, like blocking's not his forte, but like he gives a shit, right? And I think that's a lot of times as we talk about tight ends, guys. I think it's important to remember like a lot of these tight ends are just going to be lighter nowadays. Like the game is getting a lot lighter. Like wide receivers, you're even seeing, I mean, these 170, 180 pound wide receivers are turning into like really good players. Tight ends are getting lighter. Like it kind of is what it is. But you want to see these younger guys that actually give a shit at blocking. And to me, like Stowers, yeah, he's going to lose the blocking battle against most linebackers and defensive ends in the NFL. But does he care enough to get in the way? Does he care enough to have good enough technique? Can he stand in front of somebody long enough to where the running back or the ball carrier, whoever it is, can get by? And I think that Stowers will at least give you that. So he's a great athlete. He's a super explosive athlete. Love the track background. I love the fact that he's a former quarterback and he sees the game a little bit differently. And for him, this is the final thing about Stowers from me. He's been playing tight end for 2 years. That's it. He was quarterback before then. Basically throughout all of high school, the first 2 years of college. If what you showed me last year is Eli Stowers' second year of playing tight end,
it's a great point.
I'm in.
It's a great point.
So, yeah, I got him at number 5. You got him at number 4. Who's your number 3?
I had him at 5.
Oh, who's 4 for you?
4 is Joe Royer from Cincinnati.
Oh, you like Joe Royer. Okay.
Royer the Destroyer. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Talk to me about him.
I agree with your the 3 to 6 theory here. I could really put these 3 to 6, which I've already said them all, so I'll say them again. Endries was 3, Royer was 4, Stowers was 5, Joly, Big Christmas was 6. Mm-hmm. You could have them. They're all a tier to me. I felt that way. Royer, 6'4" and 5'8", 252. He's a pretty big guy. He transferred from Ohio State to Cincinnati. 31 and 3/4 inch arms, 10.5 inch hands. He's a former 4-star. He was at Ohio State for 3 years. Last year he had 50 catches, 521 yards, 3 touchdowns in this offense. He's just a guy that runs his routes with physicality. He does not want you to bump him around. He wants to throw you off. He'll counterpunch. I think as a pass protector, I was really impressed on tape because not a lot of these guys are asked to do that. Not a lot of these guys at college are parked next to a tackle and say, hey, man, you got to deal with whoever's coming off the edge. Good leverage, stays square, keeps his hands inside. It's a small. He had 31 pass pro snaps in 2024, but they are really, really good snaps where I'm like, you could do it. You can do it at a high level. So, and he's got the size and the technique. So that's a big box checked. Pretty natural pass catcher. He only had 2 drops last year. He doesn't really drop catchable targets. And I think after the catch, I saw him show pretty good contact balance to stay on his feet. The guys bounce off him or he can make people miss. You know, for me, I think he's mediocre speed, which is the case for plenty of these guys. Ironically, for how good the pass pro is, I thought the run blocking was a work in progress. He randomly, it was weird. He ducks his shoulder. He didn't always bring the tenacity that he brought as a run blocker, that he brought as a pass blocker to run blocking. I was like, I know you could do this at a high level. I was a little confused by that, so I hope he cleans that up on tape this year.
I'm so glad that I kind of let you go on the full journey from him because he's not even in my top 10 of tight ends, and I'll let you know that's the reason why.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
That is the reason why is because I came away so frustrated watching him. Now, I didn't focus on the pass blocking reps, so I need to go watch those because
they're very good.
I didn't specifically watch those with him, and instead I just watched a lot of run blocking plays where he was disinterested and a liability. There were so many plays in the 3 games that I watched of him where he's the reason why the ball carrier got tackled.
Yep.
He was absolutely the reason why the ball carrier got tackled at or behind the line of scrimmage. So I think he cares a lot when it comes to the receiving game. I think he's strong through contact. I think he's got a career contested catch percentage of over 50%. So I think that's really good. I think his build is interesting because when I watched him on tape, it looked like his torso is longer, so his legs are shorter. So the height is obviously good with him, but it's almost like the stride length's a little bit smaller to where there wasn't as much yards after catch potential with him. He was not a yards after catch guy in a way that I thought that he would be looking at how he moved before he got the ball. So I thought that was sort of interesting, just looking at his build and looking at his stride length and seeing some lack of yards after catch from him. But ultimately, man, I came away watching his film and was like, I kind of see why you didn't become a starter at Ohio State because I don't see you care about run blocking. And
you got to at tight end at that program, man.
100% you do. 1,000% you do. And so that was the biggest issue for me is I'm like, is Cincinnati kind of putting up with this? Because, and he's going to get force-fed the ball this year. I don't know how many other people that they have to throw the ball to. So, isn't Sorsby, I think it's the quarterback there at at Cincinnati, like, they're going to force feed him the ball. He's going to get a ton of production. He's going to get a ton of targets, and I think he can look good with them. But if the run blocking doesn't get better, he's not getting drafted in the top 100. Like, in my opinion, that's just my opinion there. Like, he has to care more about run blocking going into this season. So that was my big hang up with him, with Joe Royer.
Yeah, I am clearly putting in faith that he carries over the pass protection skills to the run game. If he doesn't, he will not be in my top 5 tight ends. It's just not, you can't be that much of a liability as a run blocker when you have all of the physical ability to do it. So we'll see how it goes for him this year.
But it does make sense if you watch those pass protecting reps and you saw really good blocking reps from him in that regard, that you go, okay, like, this is in here for him. So I might have been even more lenient if I went and watched the pass rush or the pass blocking reps. So I need to do that. Before we dig into our top threes, you've already talked about Endries is one of your top 3, so we'll get into my top 3 in a second. I got to talk to all the parents out there. Ask them a question. What's your child's future success look like for you? Right? Maybe it's them traveling the world. Maybe it's them owning their own business, just living in a house, comfortable with their family, whatever that looks like. You can help them achieve that right now with a kids investment account from Fabric by Gerber Life. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kids investment account for Fabric, you guys can start investing in your child's future today. Your kids can't invest while they're minors, but this kids investment account allows you to invest on their behalf. It gives their investments so much more time to grow. Starts at just $20. There's no contribution limits to it. It's got tax advantages. Funds are SIPC insured up to $500,000. Plus, no commission fees, just a low flat monthly maintenance fee to it. And it's not just when they're older either. When they're younger, you can dip into it for, music classes, tutors, sporting events, whatever. And then when they're older, maybe you're helping them buy that first house, the first car, starting a business, whatever that looks like. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your child's future today at meetfabric.com/stock exchange. That's meetfabric.com/stock exchange, MEET, fabric.com/stock exchange. The portfolios are managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Coin Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. Learn more at meetfabric.com. Did you watch Tanner Koziol?
No.
You did not.
Is he the big lad?
He is the large lad.
Yes, I did. I was telling you before the show, there's a handful of guys that did all the prelim work on, like put them in the doc, wrote down their background notes. We're working on a little bit of a short week this week, so I think he would have been next for me.
And he should have. Large lad.
Yeah.
Large lad catcher. He's the LLC. That's I'm going with the nickname here, the LLC for him.
That's one of the best nicknames you could ever have. The LLC.
We're sticking with it. So Tanner Koziol, he was at Ball State and now he is at Houston. He was a former 2-star wide receiver in the 2021 class, so he's a little bit older. He played both basketball and baseball when he was in high school, committed to Ball State, played 36 games there in 3 years, and then he transferred over to Houston this past season. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. So that's 86th percentile in height and 40th percentile when it comes to weight if he's right around 50 pounds there. You talk about a guy who's got vines for arms, who can go play above the rim, and who is a big-time receiver that knows how to box out smaller defenders and just go up and get it. Connor, a lot of these guys that we talked about here today, even the couple of guys that we haven't talked about yet, a lot of their contested catch totals within a year, somewhere double digits, could be 11, maybe 13, maybe as high as 17. Tanner Koziol had 41 contested catch targets last year.
It's insane.
The man hauled in 26 of them.
It's just utterly ridiculous.
You talk about a guy whose entire scouting report and personality as a player is winning above the rim. He is saying to his quarterback before the snap, just throw the ball up. He is the kid who, when you were growing up, when you were in 4th or 5th grade and you were playing 500, they hit the growth spurt early. They're just standing there. And it's no fair for anybody else that's playing the game. That's sometimes how it feels when I'm watching LLC go to work. I'm making it a thing. Massive size, big catch radius, very high level of production all 3 seasons when he was at Ball State. So I'm excited to see him at Houston. Now, look, Now he's got Connor Wegman throwing the ball.
Oh, the return. You love this duo.
If he revives Connor Wegman, that might be more powerful than winning the Heisman. I'm not going to lie. We'll see what happens. He's actually got a decent ability to sink his hips and turn on routes as a former wide receiver, for being 6'6". Just so impressive when it comes to those concentration catches. He's also got like a handful of one-handed catches that are just fully extended one-handed catches. The defenders have no chance at all whatsoever. A couple of them were for touchdowns. He's thin on his frame. And you see that at Ball State. I wonder if because I think he was listed at 240 when he was at Ball State, and now he's listed at 250.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he looks like here now playing at Houston if they actually pack some pounds on him. And that would be a good thing. The issue with him, though, obviously, the blocking kind of is what it is. You're losing the leverage battle all the time. He's not really going to be asked to be a blocker at all. So you don't really think of that profile too much
Zach
with him.
Kuntz vibes.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, truly. But he's so dominant at the catch point, I think it's better than that. He struggles to separate, and so I'm interested to see, does he have more weight on him this year, and can he be a little bit better of a route runner and a separator this year? Because at the competition level that Ball State was playing at, all due respect, he really could just box guys out like a power forward. And that doesn't really fly as well in Houston. So I'm wondering what he looks like as a route runner this year. But this dude's an animal. I mean, he's just such an animal with the ball in the air, and he's so good at what he does as a big receiver. I was such a fan of him. So, yeah, Tanner Koziol, now at Houston, excited to watch him play.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for him. That's a guy that needed to step up in competition.
Yep.
Because he had the, varsity against the JV vibe last year is what it sounds like. Tight end 2?
Yes, tight end 2 for you. Who is it?
Tight end 2 for me is Kenyon Sadiq on Oregon.
Kenyon Sadiq is also tight end 2.
Yes.
Do you have Max Clare, tight end 1?
Hell yeah.
Let's go, baby.
This is crazy. And we did have a big difference at 3, which is good. When I put in number 2, I'm like, we might really. I was like, this would be going out on a limb.
People talk about Kenyon Sadiq as if he's a top 20 pick, and maybe he is. Maybe he ends up being that.
Yeah.
But it's the lack of hype for Max Clare.
Oh, Max Clare is a baller.
As tight end 1 in this class is crazy to me. But
you're right. He's so when you look at all our sheets of our position rankings, he is the least talked about top player at the position rankings.
100%.
You're going to hear a million people talk about, I'll go through it right now, Arch Manning, Jeremiah Love, Jordan Tyson, even over at the defense, Peter Woods.
Yep.
Caleb Downs, of course. You're right. Absolutely. I'll rip through Sadiq.
Yeah, we got to talk about
a little
Sadiq.
combo, and then
we don't want to be disrespectful to Sadiq because he's
and
great.
then I'll have you
great.
start with Clare if that works.
Okay.
Sadiq 6'3", 245. He's gained a lot of weight at Oregon.
At Oregon.
Yeah, at Oregon. Okay. He was technically classified as an athlete as a 4-star recruit. And I believe he's gained about 20 to 25 pounds at Oregon already.
Yeah, at least.
It seems. He last year had 24 catches for 308 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 5 carries for 24 yards. Dude, it's really simple. The explosive acceleration this guy has at the tight end position is pretty scary stuff.
Yep.
I mean, he is the case of linebackers should not be able to run with him. It wouldn't make sense. And then you look at the size that he's growing into, he should be a mismatch for DBs. Oregon does a really good job at the early stages of his career of utilizing him in the screen game where he is highly effective. When he gets rolling, he looks like a freight train in the screen game. When the blocks are right and he's in the open field, he's a freight train rolling downhill. Very limited targets, but he's got strong natural hands. I don't have any concerns there. I think his run blocking effort is really good. He plays through the whistle. And this is somebody that, once again, when you watch last year's tape, I don't think he's playing at 245. There's no way he's playing at 245.
What do you think he's like 235?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. I would agree.
High effort run blocker. despite that size, they play him in line and on the slot. They're not afraid. They don't just, say, hey, you're a receiver until you get bigger. Feldman's Freaks List said he has a 41.5-inch vertical, which I believe it.
Nuts.
I believe it.
Nuts.
The thing is, he on the tape we have, Trevor, he doesn't have a tight end body. And with Tiefer gone, this dude has to be the guy this year. Like, you can be this hyped up, and we have these insane flashes of athlete and difference maker, and I think he will take this step. But right now, we are just projecting the athlete.
I'm looking at their depth chart right now. I mean, he's got to get a ton of targets on this team.
Because and they lost what's his name to injury already.
Right, Evan Stewart's out.
Evan Stewart.
Tez Johnson's gone. Terrence Ferguson's gone. They bring in Mekhi Hughes, but he's not really a receiver out of the backfield.
No.
And Dante Moore's got a cannon. So, dude, I think that the stars could align for Sadiq to absolutely blow up this year. He is a hell of an athlete. Putting more weight on him is obviously what he needs for that tight end spot. But I agree with you. Just such an impressive athlete. He looks and plays like a big receiver. He's got reliable hands. I thought he was good at the angling game as a blocker. Obviously not going to be an imposer. Obviously he's not going to be a people mover at his size, but he at least knew how to get in the way appropriately. And just like what we talked about, 10, 15 minutes ago, that's sometimes what you actually need to focus on when you're talking about these guys who are sub 240-pound tight ends. Like, you just got to be realistic with their frame and how much weight that they have or don't have on it. So inline blocking is not going to be his game. He's going to be more of that like wing back off the line of scrimmage, slot, big slot type of player. But with him, we just kind of marvel at what kind of an athlete he is, and we're hoping that it's a big target load for him this year because there just has not been a lot of action. They've gotten him on the field, credit to Oregon. They've gotten him some experience, but he just has not been a target guy for them this year, and I think that volume could certainly spell out a future first-round selection for a player who is this athletic in Sadiq.
Max Clare time?
Yeah, baby. Max Clare. Okay, so redshirt junior, he was at Purdue. Now he is at Ohio State. Listed at 6'4", 240 pounds. It's not a super. Some guys are listed at 240 and go, yeah, okay. I don't look at Max Clare and see 240 and think, yeah, okay, like he's 230, 235.
He's 240.
I think he's a legit 240, maybe 245. Former 3-star tight end. He was at Purdue, redshirted his first year, and then in those next 2 years, he played 18 games. He had 12 starts to him. This dude's a stud. I mean, you want to talk about guys who can really impact the passing game. Here's the strength and weaknesses that I got for him. Fluid and explosive athlete overall, especially for a guy who, he's listed at 6'4", 240. Connor, he looks bigger when I'm watching him on tape.
I thought he looked like an NFL tight end.
I did not watch Max Clare and thought, yeah, he's a little small. I thought he looked like he was 6'5", 250. I really did. Maybe a little bit lighter, like 245, because he moves really well, but I did not think that size was an issue for him. So fluid and explosive overall athlete. To me, what stood out immediately, nuanced route runner. I mean, he understands how to create separation by tempoing his speed, by attacking different points of leverage that the defenders have, by, shoulder fakes, little stutter step at the break point, boom, and then all of a sudden I'm going the other way. He is so nuanced
Colson
already.
Loveland vibe.
Very much Colson Loveland vibe. I also thought about Dalton Kincaid when Kincaid was coming out. And again, like, these are first-round pick tight ends because of how well they can run routes, how well they can move, how good of separators they are with their size. Really good yak potential player, right? We talked about a couple of guys that we went, okay, Tanner Koziol, Joe Royer, right? These guys who are, okay, good receivers, good receiver type of players, not necessarily yak guys. Max Clare's a yak
Gyllenborg.
guy. Yeah, Jake
John Michael Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, John. These guys, they're just not yards after catch guys. And Max Clare absolutely is. Very sure hands. I thought he was well coordinated, great hand-eye coordination, even over the shoulder. I watched a couple of slot fade passes that he had right around the 10-yard line, and they're throwing in the end zone. It's breadbasket stuff. Like, it's beautiful how he is boxing these guys out and yet catching these balls over the shoulder, which is absolutely an art. You love to see that. I mentioned he's a little bit smaller for the tight end position in the NFL, but he didn't look like it. He's got low blocking grades throughout his career, but Connor, this is somebody who, again, when I watch the tape, it's like, I don't think you're this liability as a blocker.
Not at all.
Sure. Again, are you a road grader? Are you mauling guys off of their spot? No. But he's going in there with tenacity, with good technique, and he's feisty, and he's a willing, competitive blocker. And so he at least brings that to you. I think he brings you total versatility. You could play him in line, and you could feel decent about it. You could play him off the line of scrimmage. You could play him in the slot. You could even play him as an X receiver when you get into those red zone situations if you wanted him to be a to-the-sideline guy when you're talking about red zone stuff. So this is somebody who I gave him a late first, early second round grade. Like, that's what I gave on Max Clare, and I'm really hoping that they emphasize him in the passing game now at Ohio State, because I think this kid's got the ability to be a potential top 32 pick, but at least a top 50 pick, in my opinion.
You know what comps I bet he gets a ton of? A ton.
Let's hear it.
Sam Laporta. Because of that.
Ooh,
because of the size and usage.
Nice.
6'3".
I like it.
245.
I like it.
Exactly what you said. An offensive coordinator can go into any given week, and Max Clare can play from multiple alignments and be really good at that. I think he competes his ass off on the line of scrimmage. They like that. Why that's so important is specifically for him. It opened up the chip and release opportunities. Mm-hmm. So you watch the tape all week and you sit there and go, okay, number whatever, Max Clare, he's competing. He is competitive on the line of scrimmage for them. We have to respect his ability on the line of scrimmage. He doesn't have to be Darnell Washington, but he's competitive. And then you go into the game, and then it looks like he's blocking and he releases. And he has so many opportunities off of that. And it's a really good job by Purdue dialing that up. And here's the next point that bridges together with that. He seamlessly transitions from securing the ball to being an after-the-catch runner.
Yeah.
So when you have the threat of being a blocker on the line of scrimmage and you chip and release, and then you turn around and catch the ball and you seamlessly become open field runner, that is bridging all of these things together and what makes him such a good tight end. So I love this player the way you do, and it was a joy to watch, and I think he's going to be a star for the Buckeyes this year.
I think that he is a top 50 pick right now. I really do. Yep. And what holds the key to him maybe being a first-round pick is simply how athletic are you? Like, do you show up and are you a really good athlete when it comes to the combine, right? Are you able to show out in some of those drills and some of those measurables when it comes to explosiveness and 40-yard dash and all that kinds of stuff? Like, if he could stand out in that area, man, I absolutely think that this guy could be a first-round pick, because to me, he brought the total package for the tight end position. Some other guys that didn't make my list that I guess I'll shout out. Lawson Lucky is an interesting one at Georgia. Yeah. Really good all-around athlete. He just also, like, he was somebody who I like the all-around athleticism from him, but I came away, like, wondering why there's just not more production from him.
Yeah.
Like, he did not turn into the yards after catch guy that I thought that he could be. I think he's a decent blocker, but again, I'm sort of waiting for him to really break out and showcase some good athleticism that I know he has there. Marlon Klein from Michigan is very interesting. Grew up in Germany. Let me make sure that I get this full
I have a German tight end, too, to shout out. It's funny.
Really? Do you really?
Yeah, that's Alex Honig on UConn.
Germany, just, building the tight end.
They're calling Germany tight end U.
He's a redshirt junior at Michigan this year. Klein is 6'6", 245 pounds, so he's a big lad as well. Former 3-star tight end. He lived in Germany basically until he moved over to play football in the state of Georgia, because he picked it up sort of like later in his high school career when he was a freshman and a sophomore. Ended up committing to Michigan. He redshirted his first year, played in 10 games the next year, 6 starts the next year. He was also in Feldman's freak list. So 6'6", 250 pounds. This is from Feldman's freaks. I'm quoting this. The 6'6", 250-pound junior who has hit 21.75 miles per hour, broad jumped 9 feet 7 inches. This offseason, Klein ran a 6.89 three-cone drill. His former teammate Colson Loveland did it in 6.94 last offseason. No tight end at this year's combine did it quicker than Klein. Klein's shuttle time of 4.25 this offseason also would have been the fastest by any tight end at the combine as well. So you talk about a guy who is 6'6", and he's got this type of agility to him. That's very, very alluring. Now, He doesn't bring that to the field yet. He is not nearly as confident. He doesn't have that explosiveness, and he doesn't allow those drills to sort of show in route running and creating separation. But it's good to know that he has that potential there. For right now, he is a blocking tight end, a high-effort type of a player that I'm really just looking to see how much more of a receiver you can be, because he does feel like a guy who he's listed at 245. Let's get him closer to 255, and I think that you'll really like the blocker that he ends up being, and somebody who can get some surprise catches for you week in and week out. So he was somebody who just missed my top 8, who I wanted to shout out there as well. But those were the next 2 guys on the list for me.
Yeah, that you bring up the same point, like Alex Honig, who I mentioned from Tight End U, the nation of Germany. He went from TCU to UConn, 6'7", 270. So you're looking at that kind of player.
Jeez.
A couple other names to keep an eye on, like Jack Velling on Michigan State, Amari Nyblack on A&M. There's a lot of guys, because this position is definitely prone to breakouts. But the guys we went through today, they're on the trajectory and have enough production. Most of them have enough production.
All right, let's recap it real quick. Give the people one more time your 8 through 1, and then I'll do the same.
Yeah, 8 for me was Oscar Delp from Georgia. 7 was John Michael Gyllenborg from Wyoming. Number 6
Wait,
was
you
Justin...
did it that time.
I did Gyllenborg.
You did.
You see what you've done to me? Are you proud of yourself? Thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. If I'm going to be dumb, guess what? I'm going to be an anchor. I'm dragging you down with me.
God. John Michael Gyllenborg from Wyoming was 7. 6 was Justin Joly, the NC State tight end that we're trying to turn into the new Big Christmas. 5, Eli Stowers, Vanderbilt. 4, Joe Royer, Cincinnati. 3, Jack Endries goes from Cal to Texas. 2, Kenyon Sadiq on Oregon. And number 1, Max Clare, who will play for Ohio State this year.
I got John Michael Gyllenhaal at number 8. Miles Kitselman from Tennessee at number 7. Jack Endries, I have at number 6. Big Christmas, Justin Joly. No, wait, it's Joly.
No, it's Joly. It's not Joly.
Now I'm messing up the Big Christmas
You can't
name.
make this a thing.
No, actually, I can. I am, actually.
Yeah,
Justin
true.
Joly. I'm going to say your name incorrectly for the sake of this podcast and manufacturing this nickname. Yeah, no. Justin Joly from NC State, who we like a lot. Number 4, I got Eli Stowers. Tanner Koziol, a.k.a. LLC, at number 3. Kenyon Sadiq at number 2, and then Max Clare as tight end 1. We would love to hear from you guys. We would love to hear from you if you have any other nickname pitches for any of these guys. If there's any tight ends that you have watched around the country over the last couple of years that you think have an NFL future, hit us up in the comment section. YouTube.com/@NFL Stock Exchange. You can also follow the show basically on every channel at NFL SE Show. You can follow us at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers on all of the platforms. A update for the good people. We got more hats.
Hell
we got more hats, baby.
Are.
I just got them today. So they're a little bit different. We ordered them from a different company this time. So we've got the hats, and we got a lot more of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of these new hats. Sometime next week, I will update the Shopify store, and then we will kind of do the same thing. We will update you guys when that is there, and I'm not as worried about selling out immediately. So we only have 2 style of hats, because I was only able to get 2 style of hats. Remember last time we had black and a white hat, and it was a flat brim for both of them and then a curved brim for both of them. The overwhelming majority of you wanted the curved brim hats. So now we just have the white curved brim hats and the black curved brim hats, but we have a lot of them. So if you did not get a hat, your chance to get one, which we really appreciate, are pretty high. If you guys sell these inventory out, if you guys sell out this inventory immediately, then holy cow! I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna have to do something. If you guys sell out this inventory, incredible addicts. We would
let us know what you want next.
If you did it, but
right,
of course,
give us ideas.
Yeah,
if there's an item you're like, hey, I'd really love this. We will do our best to get that in production and make enough of them. And I mean, the more support you give the show, we can't thank you enough.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys. We do. We back to 2 episodes a week next week. We back to 2
weeks from now. 2 weeks from now,
or it's 2 weeks from now. It's 2 weeks from now. Okay. So 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Back to
Labor Day
week.
Basically, the lead into NFL season.
Okay, we will have to talk about are we doing a big board episode or are we doing a mock draft episode next week? We might have time for both.
We might be able
to do the big board one, and then the beginning of the next week, maybe we could do the way too early mock draft.
We'll figure something out.
We're good at this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. We know what we're doing. We promise you. Appreciate everybody else watching and listening to another episode of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. For Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.